How's everyone doing? I unmuted.
All right, we're good. Yeah, you're good.
Y'all can hear me?
Yep, you're good now.
Okay, great.
We'll go ahead and get started. Let's start with Pete Paranica.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, the unusual circumstances continue. As you prepare for this training camp, what do you anticipate is going to be the biggest challenge given the protocols and the restrictions that have been put in place by the league?
Pete, it's so great to hear from you. Hope you're doing well, man. We've been sitting on this a long time. There's obviously a lot of stuff out there that we're going to have to process, unpack, and, a new normal, way different than we even had in the bubble. And I think the biggest thing is, trying to identify our consistent habits, but still maintaining flexibility and adaptability. Nothing's going to change in terms of how we compete every single day, how unselfishness and togetherness is, a core principle of ours, and getting better. You've heard me say that since day one. But there's going to be a uniqueness to this with timing and protocols and things that are going to pop up that, we weren't expecting. So we all have to kind of maintain an ability to adapt. So if we can every day show up to work with that mentality, if I'm going to compete, I'm going to do everything I can with my teammates to get better, and I'm going to focus on my individual and team growth, whatever form or fashion that might be in this new season. I think we'll find success. So maintaining some adaptability, that's definitely me looking at the mirror and understand that. But if we can all embrace that, be flexible, but still not lose sight of the integrity of what we stand for and what we can control every single day we come into the building. I think that's the newness. But also, at the core, what we've done all season long last year and what we're going to do for many years moving forward.
Next, we'll go to Evan Barnes.
Taylor, good to see you.
Good to see you, Evan.
With the training camp situation being so compact, and with you guys, you're gonna have your first game, I believe, next week. Really, does that kind of change kind of the structure of how you plan this training camp, what you're looking forward to, and just kind of how you acclimate some of the rookies to this new format?
Yeah, absolutely. It's this new season is presenting new opportunities, new challenges for sure, but new opportunities. And as I said a moment ago, as we prepare for our first preseason game, as we prepare for our first regular season game, an entire season, our areas of focus going into any season doesn't change. Making sure our guys are in the best shape possible, health being a priority, making sure guys are available to work every single day. Their health is still number one for us. But also we talk so much about our habits and in a condensed schedule, trying to get ready to tip it off, a week from Saturday, what's that going to look like? So we've spent a lot of time, not just as a coaching staff, but, Zach and myself, our performance team, just talking about what this whole picture is going to look like, and really just try to focus on the day-to-day and being very smart about, luckily, we've got a great group coming back, a lot of the same players as the year before, but as you mentioned with new guys, as best as possible, we're trying to get them up to speed, whether that's virtual sessions or now that we're able to, work with guys in the building, having those conversations, getting them film, creating new ways to teach. When I talked about we've got new challenges, we've got new opportunities too. And at the end of the day, we still try to find that appropriate amount where we're not trying to do too much or we're not trying to do too little to get prepared to go out there and just compete and play together and have fun, doing what we're doing every single day. So we spent a lot of time, as a coaching staff, kind of working through that, kind of developing a game plan for when camp kicks off and what our first practice is going to look like, and how our first practice is probably going to show us what our second practice should look like. With a non-normal off season, we're doing the best we can with the most information we have on how our players are doing and what they're going to retain and how they're doing health-wise. But I think we've got some strategies in place to, as I said, not lose sight of what we do every single day from a teaching and habit forming standpoint, but also having some adaptability and knowing that, we're not going to probably hit the ground as hard as you normally do in a training camp, and be very smart and diligent about, how we approach day to day. So it's kind of a big picture, small picture kind of combination there. But it's definitely got our wheels turning, our brains a lot. But I've got great confidence that we've got some good plans in place to kick off day one right.
Peter Edmiston.
Hey, Taylor, within the bigger picture framework of the stuff that you've talked about, last year you had your first year as a head coach, but it was such a weird year, and you had that abrupt stop in March. Then you pick it back up with the bubble. Then you're off, and now you're right back at it. How much time have you had to self-scout your own progress as a coach, talk to other people within the industries, your other friends, and kind of what did you pick up from a very strange and weird year one?
Peter, great to hear from you. A lot of time allowed my mind to race a lot, for sure. I definitely think when, the season halted back in March, I think we talked about this, prior to the bubble, I had a lot of time for self-reflection, coaching wise, but also, personal as a husband and as a father. But especially getting back from the bubble and kind of closing the books on year one. I think my coaches, hopefully they're not tired of me yet. I've got ideas flowing out of my brain, having watched a lot of film, watching playoff basketball, studying our team, a lot of things that, you have on your mind as year one's going on that may not be the right time to put it on the table to really talk about, trying to just have a successful foundation laid in year one. But it's been really fun the last couple of months, getting back into the work swing, even though we've had to do some stuff virtually, but just a lot of idea generation. And from a self-reflection standpoint, like you asked about, I've done a lot of it. I've kind of gone A to Z about what I do in my preparations, what we're doing in practices, how can I game manage better? What can I do to put our guys in better positions, both offensively and defensively? How can we take our analytics department to another level? How can we be better player development coaches and have a better player development system? Everything born out of how do we help our players be better all the time, and also how our staff, the connection that we have as a staff, having that time has really helped us kind of fortify what we see ourselves as a group doing moving forward. And doing all that stuff, even amidst a crazy first season and a crazy first off season, we've still been thinking about the unknown that's been ahead and trying to just really stick true to, this is what we believe can be good for our teams. This is what I need to do better as a coach, and whatever gets thrown at us, through the course of this upcoming season, we'll be prepared. So there's been a lot of study for sure. You'll see some things obviously there's stuff that only goes on in my brain that are going to be different, how I've wired my mind a little bit differently, and also my daily habits too, how I'm approaching, the mental, physical health of myself as well. So I've done a lot of reflection, as I said, A to Z. I won't take up too much time going bit by bit, but it'll be fun to kind of talk about that over the course of the season as you see my growth, our players' growth, and our entire team.
Let's go to Teresa Walker.
Taylor, with doing things virtually and easing into this camp, how much have you all been able to monitor what guys have been able to do during this break since last played together on a court, and is maybe monitoring physical status of players going to be the top priority as you work into this unique start to a season?
Sure, Teresa, great to hear from you. I'd say, as best as possible, we've definitely tried to monitor it. Obviously we've kind of gone through this voluntary period for this last stretch of time. Now we're kind of into more, mandatory individual workouts where, our coaches are more present. They had been, previously, but in a limited capacity. The same can be said for, what guys were able to do, if they chose to be here, with our performance team. So we've tried to exhaust every opportunity to stay connected, whether that was in person, through an individual workout, an individual performance training session, obviously our performance team, doing all the things that they need to do to, as you said, make health a priority. And I think that's going to be the priority going into this season is as much as we know, we need to reteach, we need to teach new things. There's going to be that physical toll that the guys are going to feel not having a normal off season. But I think a lot of our guys have definitely been training and being in the best shape as possible and staying connected to the game as possible with our coaches, whether that's film sessions, Zoom sessions. We've done a lot of that. The fortunate time to have the one-on-one on the court. There's been a lot of, talk there about, what to expect this upcoming season with some of the new things that we're going to be doing as a team, but, refreshing their memories on what we've done previously and what guys need to embrace, coming ahead. So with all that together, I feel like we've done a pretty good job monitoring where guys are at, but there's nothing like that first day of camp, these next couple of days, having the mandatory workouts are going to be great. But once you get that first live 5-on-5 action, once we kind of hit the ground running, similar to what we faced in Orlando, trying to really understand where the guys were coming into camp, and then camp is we're going to really show you where our guys are at. So health's going to be a priority. We don't ever want to go too far and hinder us, any more than, is necessary at all. So that's been a very thorough process, and it's been engaging with the players. We don't have all the answers as coaches and performance staff, our players as well. We're kind of going into uncharted waters again, but if we can control as much as possible, staying in best shape as possible and mentally ready, we're just going to take this thing one day at a time. And that's why I'm excited about day one, really seeing where our guys are at and then what next steps we need to take from then on out.
Let's go to Esteban Bastillos.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time.
Esteban. Absolutely.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Esteban, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
Sorry about that. So one of the moves that your staff made was bringing in Sonia Raman from MIT. I just have a couple questions about that. One, what was the process of finding Sonia? What was that like, and what made her stand out? And then two, she's coming from MIT, which is not, a place that's known for, maybe not necessarily known for bringing people into NBA. She's the first woman of South Asian descent to be a coach in the NBA. What do you think her hiring means for maybe the Grizzlies and maybe the NBA as a whole in terms of how they're looking at talents now?
Yeah. I'll try to remember both parts of it. I need you to remind me. It's been a while since I've done these sessions, of course. It was an exciting process. Obviously, we're sad to see Nevin Spahiya leave and Yale Ivey leave, but so excited for the opportunities that they have. And, when those openings came about, it was about finding the best coaches, the best people to bring into our program. And fortunately, when we were developing a list of candidates, trying to, pre-identify the best people for our program without talking to them, Sonia's name came up from a relationship she had with Rich Cho in our front office. And, there had been a pre-existing relationship. It was, hey, this could be someone that there'd be great interest to talk to, just see where this could go. And Sonia and I had a number of conversations during the off season. And after that first call, the things that jumped out were you just knew she loved basketball and she could teach it. And as you said, MIT may not get the recognition, from a basketball standpoint, but from a teaching standpoint, from a care factor in terms of what she was able to accomplish as a coach, at MIT, the uniqueness of a Division III school and what your brain and your coaching philosophies have to adapt year to year. You could tell she was a student of the game and she had successful teams. And, I think about myself too and where I started. And to your second point, it's, does this change the landscape? I hope it creates more openness to people to find the best coaches. That's what it's all about. And that's when we started this 2 summers ago when I first got hired. We're going to look everywhere at anybody to bring into our program that if we believe that they're great coaches, they're great people, they're going to help others get better, especially our players. That's what our focus is. And that's immediately what jumped off, our first Zoom interview. Had some follow-ups there. And you could just feel like she was going to be an unbelievable addition to our program. I knew she was going to be a natural fit with our coaching staff. It's already hit the ground running, from that standpoint. And then our players have been unbelievable in welcoming her, and the amount of teaching she's already done is awesome, in this unique offseason we've had. But, hopefully her hire is one of many, many more because what it's all about at the end of the day is finding people no matter what their backgrounds are. If you can really at the core discover the best coaches and the best people and the best fits for your program, they can come from anywhere in the world, any background, any experience level. That's what the vetting out process is when you hire people, is you're trying to find the best of the best. And we're so thrilled to have Sonia here. She's already done an amazing job. And once we get to hit the ground running, when the season officially starts, I know she's going to do wonders here for the Grizzlies.
We've got time for one more question. We'll go to Dwayne Rankin.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Taylor, obviously, Jae Crowder played for you last year. He's now in Phoenix. What did he bring to you guys, and what makes him a player that's able to blend with others and help them win, help them have success?
Yeah, I mean, I love Jay. So happy for him. You know, he's been the consummate professional over his entire career. And obviously, when we had the fortune to have him in our program for a good part of the last season, he made a tremendous impact. You know, not just as a player, but obviously as a teammate, someone to help a young coach and myself, you know, get my feet, you know, in the ground and establish myself and how to build this program up. So, you know, a player like that means so much. You know, obviously, you know, competitor in the Phoenix Suns, they got a great one. He's a guy that comes to work every single day and puts in the work, and it's all for the team. You know, he's going to play any role that you ask of him, and that's on the floor, that's off the floor. You know, the leadership role that he can take and help, you know, not just young players, but other vets, and bringing a team together and creating that competitive environment. You know, that's what he's been since his college days when I first knew about him. So players of his ilk are critical to your program. And obviously he left a lasting impact here. You know, it's someone that even though he's on another team, you know, you root for him because of the impact that they made for you. And you obviously wish the best for them. So, you know, obviously when we compete against each other, hopefully we get the W's. But, you know, what he left here and helped these guys, and guys will be better for that and remember that for that. And it'll help them grow into, you know, understanding what it is to be the best pro, the best competitor, the best teammate, the best leader that they can be even as 20, 21, 22-year-olds. It's just a great example to set. And I can say personally for myself, it's also a great example about the type of people you want to have in your locker room, how to help build the culture that you want to do from ground up, and what I can do better as a coach to help make these guys better as well in my role, you know, as a part of this team.
All right. Thanks for joining us today, Taylor. We appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to talking to you all very soon. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.